In this keynote, we will listen to the opinion of Professor João Duque, Lisbon University, concerning long life learning, formal and informal learning.
Long life learning. We can say that the 4 years students are spending in the university is an introduction for 40 years of long life learning. This is the challenge for you, those students that are with us, because we are facing this challenge from many years ago. And informal or formal, during my life, most of my secretaries, they have never made a course on using computers. You know why? And they were the best. Because when they have some doubt, they came to me and say, oh, please, how can I do this? And step by step, I was teaching them. So sometimes informal teaching is very good, fantastic. And I would like to listen to the opinion of Professor João Duque. João is a person that has, let's say, 2 faces. Not in a bad sense, but in the good sense. He's an academic, he's a PhD doctor and director of a university, and is a man with his feet in the ground as well. So he can give us an excellent opinion of both sides of the corner. João, floor is yours. Please share with us your experience and your opinion about these aspects.
Use this. Well, let me just thanks for the possibility of being in your conference. About long life learning, it's something that we obviously have to keep in mind to supply the society in general, because mainly technology, and use the word in a very broad sense, technology kills knowledge. So all the developments, and they are developed more and more fastly, what makes a very good and pleasant life apparently for us, but just kills our skills that we use in our daily lives. And this is not only for our, let's say, regular life, like using mobile phones or whatever, but we also have the same feeling in terms of managing, and I'm managing firms, managing groups, leading people, or using more sophisticated tools in the economics and management decision-making process. So in my field of knowledge, which is the School of Business and Economics, basically, we feel that we have this need. What is being developed and the advances in knowledge have put away or have basically killed what was the traditional knowledge. So this means that we have to keep in mind that all the society needs to come back to school, and particularly to universities, to readjust or to refuel the new skills and capabilities that we need to survive in the world. And this is not only a result of the technology development itself, but also is a result of the integration of systems and the opening of the world to a more integrated society, meaning that we only by opening the borders and facilitating trading and the flows of ideas, this means that we need to know more and more about other other societies, cultures, and ways of living. So it's why we, for instance, in my school, we are now offering courses in six different languages, for instance. And this is something that we feel that in order to let our students be more able to trade and relate with other cultures, we think that they are at least, well, not fully prepared, but at least they need to be closer to the other cultures, and this is and teach them new languages or additional languages is a way to let them be closer to those cultures that they want to trade with. So we know that the English is the Latin, the common language of the world today, but we still feel that with additional languages skills, they could be closer to their customers. And it's why this is just a way to show you how we can reflect in the way we offer programs, courses, and so on. This is a way to adjust this process of supply knowledge to the community in general, in order to adjust what is the general flow of our tendencies. So in general, this can be delivered in two ways. Either calling people back to the universities for longer programs, which enroll people from, let's say, 150 to 300 hours for in-depth programs for all those specific in fields. We also have small, very small and short term programs that help these customers to adjust or refill or absorb new tendencies, new techniques, new rules, new laws that will make their life changing, sometimes dramatically. So this is a process that we feel that is stronger and stronger in university, because the cycles of knowledge, the cycles of the economic life of knowledge are reducing, are shortening. And this means that we have to come back very, very regularly to universities. This is not something that happens for high schools or primary schools. So leaving the primary schools is forever, or high schools is forever. So what we may observe in this tendency is coming back for formal instruction and education, but basically based in universities or institutes that can do it in a very sophisticated and reliable way. Of course, this is my perspective of what I understand the formal education and for long life learning processes, and along with this feeling, we have to accommodate and to supply, of course, supply our customers with some diplomas that entitles them to show, at least in Europe, that they have accumulated a certain amount of education. And this should be done in a very standard way, which is the calculation of the ECTS, which is the number of credits that they can accumulate by coming back to my university or other universities in formal ways. This system of credits is a way that let us to understand, or they have in a common standard, to understand what was the effort of every single person in their education along its life. And not only this gives us an accumulation of credits, but we also can check along a person's life how was his his education process. So, for instance, I can calculate using this standard for every decade, or let's say a 5 years period or whatever, what was the amount of credits that I've accumulated along my life, meaning that we should observe, or we should carefully monitor this way of degradation or refilling process of knowledge or education along its life. So I can, for instance, if I accumulate, let's say, 300 credits along my life after my first degree, the question is, how did I spread it along my life? So this is quite important perspective that even for firms that want to, in some way, wants to shape the education process of their staff. Just to finish my presentation, I would like to call your attention for the need for that is also expressed in the demand side. So up to now, I've just spoke about my supply side, which is the university side, but I would like also to call your attention for the demand side. And the demand side, it's interesting to observe that the demand side comes from the very start or early days when they finish the first degree, but it's a never-ending process, because I have launched with a very success a program for seniors that it's really a success for people with over 60s, okay? And they just came to the university not as a way to observe education and information and training skills as an investment process to use in their economic activity, but for they want to use education as a consumption product, because they are retired, but they want to keep along the new developments in a way that is delivered in between a formal and informal process, but in a regular basis and by people that is in line with the new developments. So just to finish, the long life learning process is inevitable. I think it's a trend that is nowadays it's a must. Every university, schools have to be offering these programs. Companies must keep the eye on this process too, and carefully monitoring the way how the staff spends time in their education or re-education process, and this is inevitable as a result of the developments in technology and the way how the world is organizing.
Okay, João, thank you very much. It was a very clear and important opinion for us concerning this subject. And before I open debate and get other different opinions, I'd like to ask you just a comment about this. Several decades ago, normally we have two main lines lines of updating. One, it was the university. We should make our upgrading, master degrees, PhDs, and so on, to involve in academic environment. Mainly, it was for academic curricula. And in professional activities, we improve our curricula with doing things, making, let's say, showing that we could do things in practice, in life. And for that, you really didn't need a certificate. You just show that you have been and give some information. I think things are changing today. We have two different channels working in simultaneous for our, let's say, for improving our knowledge. Do you think that, let's say, there is, of course, another environment for professional training companies, and large companies are integrating inside of their activities the training of their teams? You see, this becomes a little bit confusing. Could you separate waters and give us your opinion concerning this? Is it, let's say, today a hybrid solution for updating? Because you see, everything is changing in such fast way that I remember that a few years ago, the rector of Lisbon University said in a very jokey way that university should give only license graduations with a validation of 5 years, because after 5 years everything was changed and that certificate means nothing. So, okay, what do you think about this?
Yes, really, universities are nowadays, they just left to be, I mean, they are not, no more or have the monopoly of the education, particularly concerning the education for decision-taking within firms. And so big companies want to and develop, establish academias or training structures, but these training structures are somehow too much concerned with a very short-term and very hands-on and leaving a bit that specific knowledge a bit out of context. So what they, in a very significant number of situations, they come to universities in order to make what they think to be the perfect marriage between a more structured way of integrating knowledge that is usually delivered by academics, and within this mainframe, they incorporate what they feel it's very, very significant and productive or of interest. But they usually don't leave completely out the universities in this context. And I should like to tell you one of the most interesting experiences that we have with these academias that are developed by firms. We developed a program with a big bank. It's an European bank, the Paribas, that we developed a program specifically for selecting people in the process they would like to establish for selecting newcomers for the firm. So what we did was to develop a program, and at the end of that program, students get a diploma plus a place within the firm, meaning that they have the necessary skills to get both. I mean, the knowledge that we want to deliver in terms of we consider to be the main structure where they incorporate those specific pieces of knowledge that the firm wants to deliver, plus they are ready to develop the economic activity they want within the firm. So this is for me one of the most interesting programs that I've seen in my life, because it's not it's a program developed for the very start of the selection process of a firm and combining both. So I'd say, yes, there is a space, there is a room for these new ways of delivering knowledge and education, but I would not discard universities as a way to structure knowledge and to help them to do it.
Pedro Veiga, Professor Pedro Veiga, is the Vice Rector of Lisbon University. He was. He finished a few months ago, 2 months ago, I think. And it's an honor that you are with us, giving your opinion and comments about our reflection concerning the School of the Future. I will return to you, Pedro. Just if you want to say a very short few words about, just to say hello to the persons in the. I would like that Teresa Passos would like your camera, because I'd like to put you a question. Okay, Teresa.
Yes.
What I would like to know from your opinion is more or less the same thing that I put to João. You are a person with experience around making professional training and things like this. Can you tell us what is, let's say, the balance between long life learning concerning, let's say, the academic university line and professional training?
Okay, let me change some thoughts on this topic with you all. Dynagie by default works with active citizens. Okay, so we address clients' requests, companies' requests to build and develop and adjust development programs, training programs that go along people's needs according to the different challenges that companies face each time or often. So yes, we go along with them answering these needs. On the other side, we have been, and our intervention is by default a short-term one. I mean, we have long life projects, okay, 2-3 years projects, and we also, but our interventions with each person is very short if we compare to traditional university programs. Now, it is a fact that universities are also investing in more executive program formats, and so more short-term programs, and we have been partnering also with ISEG on those sort of programs, and João can confirm that, where we are experimenting new ways of bringing executive people to the university, so addressing and answering their needs to updating and keeping, you know, integrated in the flow of know-how and knowledge, and Dynagie bringing experts on the subject, either from Dynagie or from our international network that we have spread in the world, so taking advantage of that. So yes, I mean, long life learning is each time more a need. We do it directly through our services, and also partnering with universities, as you say.
Okay, thank you very much. Clear and short. Ângela, I think you
yeah.
something as well. Okay, João, I will give you stage in a second.
Yes, just to add the comment. Not only those corporate universities or corporate academies.
João, can you repeat it, please?
Okay, so I'd like to stress that there are those concepts of integrating ways or teachers, I would say, or coaches, which is either developing projects within firms, creating those corporate academies or corporate universities, but where we a lot of times observe academics or universities joining these projects as advisors, or the reverse. As Teresa told us, we cooperate in a project where instead of developing within Dynagie, we develop this inside of ISAC. But we have this partner. And the partnership is quite interesting. But not only that, the good corporations, the good firms that want to deliver good programs, and as the Dynagie does, and I personally attended one of these courses, programs a long time ago. They tend also to hire highly educated people. For instance, Teresa has a PhD. So it's not only people that tells you where is the menu of a new software or something like that, but good companies, good firms for training people are also hiring highly educated people. That helps to bring some, I'd say, infrastructure and in a sophisticated way to those programs, in order to, of course, to develop good and satisfactory programs within these firms. That's all.
Thank you, João. I think you can listen to me and you know, and because I have some technical problem, but it's solved now. I'd like to listen to some other opinions or comments, if you would like, about this subject. Virginia or Magdalena.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very much, Professor João Duque and Professor Teresa.
Yeah.
Yes, for very interesting presenting and your opinion and about lifelong learning and formal, informal, and non-formal learning and education. I agree with you absolutely. That cycle of updated knowledge updated is reduced, and studies show that an average of 7 times in your life will change jobs, and sometimes it also involves a change in profession. The half-life of knowledge, which is defined as the time in interval of their obsolescence, in recent years was reduced to 5 years. And in the global world and in conditions of internet environment, social media, knowledge society, growth role of and non-formal and informal learning, and which are more flexibility and absolutely without time and places limited. And let me ask you about your opinion about Do you think about necessary of validation of non-formal and informal lecture? Before this topic was discussed, and let me ask you again about more precise about very important and very necessary, very neat question regarding validation. of this category and aspects.
Excuse me, Eugenia. You mean that your doubt, if it is formal and informal teaching needs as well validation as we do when we are offering a course in a university or
Yes,
or it's
yes.
just, let's say,
During study at the university and
improving,
school.
or it is just improving of the curriculum
Yes.
with no validation.
And validation.
Yes.
Accepted graduate courses and
Yes, you see, but
as this form of training.
this is a little bit, I should say that it's a little bit difficult because informal, for its own definition, it's informal. And if you have a validation, you need, let's say, some kind of evaluation on which certifies this training. And on that, you need something else. João is in a position to give us his opinions.
I just adding or answering to this question of the validation of informal education. We have an experience here, which is for undergraduates, we allow 6 credits within a program of 180 credits. So it's only 6 credits that students can accumulate by demonstrating that they are enrolled in other activities that we considered valid for their education and educational and integration in the society's process. So, meaning that we have a kind of close look on these activities. Some of them are within the school, others are outside, but they also, they are kind of filtered, but they are validated, because when we deliver a diploma, we are assuming that this student has finished 180 credits, within which we have 6 credits that actually can be obtained by these other ways, like if they belong to a fire brigade, or if they do some sports activity outside of the school, if they, they attend conferences within the school. They are not structured, but all these activities can collect half a credit or 1 credit or whatever. So, meaning that they can accumulate by doing other non-structured activities credits, and the credits are validated with the diploma, and we keep the portfolio of justifications that really show that the student has attended these seminars or has done some activities or whatever. So we have this portfolio, and we have a person that is responsible for validating if this activity allows a credit or half a credit or how much credit it's given or assigned to. So it's a way of validating non-formal or non-structured education.
Okay, thank you, João.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Pedro, I'd like to put you a question concerning exactly this subject. You know that in Portugal we have some kind of validation, not for offering a diploma, but offering access to the university. This means In normal conditions, a student should have the secondary level finished and things like this. But we have a different parallel way to access to the university. People that have experience, life experience, and so on, and more than a certain number of years, with his curricula, they can ask to be admitted to a graduation, which means it's not a certificate that gives a diploma, but gives access to the university. This has been an experience that ran during several years in our country, and Pedro, I think you are in a good position to this type of informal certification.
Okay, in first place, I apologize for arriving late, but I had to go to the hospital with a family member, and I decided to connect late, but with the technical conditions that are not maybe the best ones. I am remote, although a 4G connection. Also, I have not followed the discussion that has been taking place. So maybe I will say a few things that are not aligned with the previous discussion. In first place, I don't like, and I told you that before, I don't like very much the expression "school of the future." I don't like to say things about the future. The future is something that we help to shape, but we not control. And the School of the Future is our present university, concerning the university, is what we have now. It's shaped by our past and what some leaders are doing. And in this area of use of IT in the learning process, I suppose a lot of people is not using the possibilities of the new IT technologies to better focus and shape how the university will evolve. As you mentioned, I have been a pro-rector of the University of Lisbon until recently, until the two largest universities in Lisbon have been merged into a much larger university. And one of my action lines was to promote e-learning. That has been done with the help of the e-learning institute, of the educational institute. And I must confess I am a bit frustrated about how people were reacting to the use of IT in the learning process. Especially professors of a older generation have not understood yet the big impact that these technologies have in the learning process, and they have not also understood that the majority of our younger generation, they are very skilled in using these technologies. And in saying this, I'm not mentioning giving classes online or offline. It's all the impact the students now can have access to a lot of scientific material, a lot of websites, a lot of them with a low quality, and this is posing a lot of challenges that a lot of teaching staff is not understanding. Also, the use of IT it really depends on the educational level, because university is not only addressing the needs of knowledge transmission, but it's also a framework for students to learn, to live together, to work in groups, something that before the university is not possible. So, although I am an enthusiast about the use of IT, I think that the use, for example, in the first cycle of Bologna, in the second cycle should be very different, because the students have also to have new skills that they get in the university. But concerning the validation, and with this long introduction, I will go to validation. Something that is very relevant for a university, in addition to the transmission of knowledge, is to do a validation of the learning skills of students at a given stage. And we all know that the level of I'm missing the English word, I'm sorry, but the way our students are evaluated is not uniform. For example, I am now evaluating universities here in Portugal, and some universities are very demanding concerning the skills of the students, and they rank the students in a very rigorous way. And other universities are very poor in that dimension. And the market knows that. I've been also an employee of students in informatics, and in the market we know that some universities give big rankings to students, and it's not possible to compare forgetting the institution. So an important role of the university is to do the validation of the knowledge outcomes of the students, and that even in an IT world must be done personally and in a very rigorous way. Concerning another aspect that you touched, at least the part that I could understand, because I had some difficulties with the sound, the admission to universities with students with informal skills. I don't know, I don't have a broad picture of what's being done in many places, but my impression is that, at least in my university, is done in a very rigorous way, and only with students that have conditions to attend the university, they are accepted. So basically, the way our universities rank the students at the entrance and after the regular attendance of courses is very crucial to give credibility to the university, to the students, and to the whole learning process. So that's all for now. And once again, I apologize for the delay and not being able to set up the technology as I usually do.
Thank you, Pedro. Life is not exactly as we would like, but that it is possible. So we had family problems. So I hope that everything very well with your family. Now I think that time precious us not to give more time available for this topic. Let's go to the next one.